Hi, I'm Donna Fields and welcome to CLIL Scaffolding 14. It's a series of webinars designed to help give you support for using scaffolding in your lessons. Today we're going to use scaffolding technique number 172. 101 more of these techniques can be found in my book, 101 Scaffolding Techniques for Language Teaching and Learning, that's also been translated into Spanish. The question I'm most asked by teachers is if it's possible to scaffold grammar in the teaching of any language. I always say yes, that any of the techniques I share in the book and on the scaffoldingmagic.com webpage can be adapted to any information. I have to admit, however, that sometimes this is challenging. So today I've dedicated a scaffold to the grammatical structure of indirect speech. The material I'm using in both the primary and secondary examples in this video are from ESL books, but very well written ones. Most of the information in the units has to do with the same theme, and the academic language is recycled from one page to the other, so there's a continuum. And it's easy to present this scaffold through the CLIL approach, which means that indirect speech, or reported speech, is taught through content. Let's start with an example from a secondary class. As I mentioned, this unit is well thought out, and the theme and academic language are continuous. What becomes overwhelming for the language learner is not just the academic language in all the texts, but also the number of names of people and places mentioned, plus the facts given in each text. This scaffold helps the students to ease into all this information, have some ownership of the stories, and feel as though they have some control over the rapid-fire way they're expected to read and absorb so many different stories. So how do we begin? We begin, as usual, by making the information visible as much as possible, and so we're going to scaffold the scaffold. What I've done is picked out some key names and information from the different pages of the unit. This makes the information more real to the learners. I found pictures to match some of the names and places, taken them with some questions, and put them on a page. These I give to each pair of students. The questions are phrased so as to give the students freedom to both pull from past knowledge and or make up stories about the people they're looking at. As long as they can back up their narratives with specifics in the photos, we can give them a wide berth. The idea is to introduce them to the names, the academic language, and the concepts of the unit before they even open up their books. And so when they actually do look at those pages, they'll already be familiar with a good part of what they see. It's also essential to give them some of the vocabulary, the phrases to use to begin their discussions. Many times it's just the first few words that stops them from holding a conversation. This helps them move ahead, and then they're on their own. Next, you need to model the activity. Here's an example, and you can include this in the handout. You've pulled information from different texts in the unit and placed identical sentences in the two tables except for one intentional mistake in each of those sentences. So the students take the tables and take turns transforming the statements first into indirect speech, listening to their partner, and then discussing which one has a mistake in the statement they've made. When they've agreed on the mistake, they put that word in the incorrect word column. So, for instance, the first student might say, Boyan Slat said that he saw many fish get caught in the nets that are put in the ocean to clean up the plastic people throw in the water. Student 2 would say, Boyan Slat said that he saw many fish get caught in the nets that are put in the ocean to clean up the plastic people throw in the rubbish bin. Now, student 1 would say, which statement is correct? And student 2 might say, I think your statement is correct. The problem is that people throw rubbish into the water, not into the rubbish bin. And student 1 might say, that makes sense. We'll put rubbish bin in the third column as the incorrect word. So after modeling the activity, then you give each pair of students one of the tables and they're off. They transfer each of the statements into indirect speech. They find the mistake, write the incorrect word in the third column, and then afterwards you can show them the answers. You use the same dynamic and structure with any primary book. You make some of the learning visible, prepare two tables, one with a mistake in each of the identical statements, and then your job during class time is to facilitate the students in practicing indirect speech and so becoming familiar with the concept of the unit at the same time. And that's it, another simple scaffolding technique that I hope you can use in your classes. And you've helped your students connect language, images, and concepts, strengthen their oral communication, and practice skills for working in groups. So all you super teachers out there, I look forward to seeing you next time. And in the meantime, have fun in your classes. Bye.